Long before machines filled factories and designs were copied by the thousands, there were craftsmen sitting beside fires, shaping branches with stone blades, hollowing bowls with patience, carving symbols into surfaces not for decoration alone but for survival, memory, and identity. And in those quiet beginnings lives a wisdom that modern woodworkers can rediscover today. Because primitive craft is not about being old-fashioned. It is about being rooted, about understanding material, about slowing down enough to let the wood teach you what it wants to become. In my early years, I chased modern tools, glossy finishes, and complex designs, believing that success meant precision and speed. But it was only when I began studying ancient forms, rough textures, hand-carved joints, and fire-darkened surfaces that my work truly found its voice. Because customers did not come only for beauty. They came for story, for authenticity, for the feeling that an object had a soul. And this is the secret gift of primitive woodcraft in business. That it offers something rare in a world of sameness, something human, something honest, something that cannot be perfectly repeated by a machine. Welcome, dear friends, to Wow Decor 2, and thank you for joining me in this quiet moment where we travel back in time and forward into possibility. Because today, I want to speak to you about the use of old primitive handmade woodcraft as a path not only to art, but to business, meaning, and a life shaped by honest hands. And I speak as someone who has spent more than 30 years listening to the language of wood, studying the marks left by ancient tools, and learning that the simplest techniques often carry the deepest power. When you hold an old-style wooden bowl shaped with adze marks still visible, or a stool built with pegs instead of screws, or a wall hanging carved with simple lines that echo ancient symbols, you are not just holding an object, you are holding time, and people feel this, even if they cannot explain it. And that feeling is what makes primitive craft powerful in today's market. Modern homes may be filled with glass and steel, but inside many hearts there is a longing for warmth, for texture, for connection to nature and heritage, and primitive wood decor answers that longing quietly and beautifully. Over the years, I have watched customers run their fingers across rough surfaces and smile, saying it reminds them of their grandfather's workshop, their childhood village, a cabin in the woods. And in that moment, I understood that business is not only about selling products. It is about offering memory, comfort, and belonging. For beginners, this path is especially kind, because primitive techniques do not require expensive machines. They require attention, hand tools, patience, and curiosity. And with simple chisels, knives, mallets, and fire, you can create bowls, spoons, trays, candle holders, stools, shelves, frames, and sculptures that carry a powerful handmade presence. And because each piece is naturally unique, your work becomes art by default, and your customers become collectors rather than shoppers. I often tell young woodworkers that the most valuable tool in primitive craft is not in your hand but in your mind. The ability to see possibility in crooked branches, in split logs, in weathered boards, and this way of seeing changes everything. Because suddenly waste becomes material, leftovers become inspiration, and your costs fall while your creativity rises. In business, this is a blessing because reclaimed and natural wood connects directly to sustainability. And today, more than ever, people want to buy objects that respect the earth, that reduce waste, that carry ethical stories. And when you can say that your bowl came from a fallen tree, your shelf from an old fence, your sculpture from storm wood, you are not only selling decor, you are sharing a philosophy, a way of living gently on the land. Primitive craft also teaches you to design with function first, beauty second, just as ancient makers did. And this creates objects that people actually use, that live in kitchens, bedrooms, gardens, and studios. And when art becomes useful, it becomes unforgettable. And unforgettable art builds loyal customers. As your hands learn these old methods, something else happens that no business course can teach. your confidence grows, because you are no longer dependent on electricity, on complex machines, on fragile systems. You know that with a knife, a piece of wood, and time, you can create value anywhere. And this independence is a quiet kind of wealth. I have carved bowls beside rivers, shaped spoons in forest camps, built stools in small village workshops. And every time I sold one of these pieces, I felt not like a vendor but like a storyteller, passing on a fragment of human history. And customers sensed this and treasured the objects not as decor alone but as companions. In your own business journey, you will discover that primitive woodcraft invites slower growth, but stronger roots. And while you may not become rich overnight, you will build a reputation that lasts, a brand based on authenticity, and a body of work that deepens with time rather than fading with trends. There is also healing in this craft, healing that quietly becomes part of your business offering, because shaping wood by hand calms the mind, strengthens the body, and teaches presence. And when your work is born from calm, it carries calm into other homes. And many of my customers over the years told me they felt peace when they looked at or used my primitive pieces, that they placed them in meditation corners, reading nooks, bedside tables, and in that way, my business became not only creative but therapeutic. And this is a rare and beautiful direction for any career. When you film your process, when you share the sound of carving, the rhythm of mallet and chisel, the glow of fire on wood, you invite viewers into that calm. And slowly your audience grows not only with buyers but with people who trust you, who learn from you, who follow your journey, and this community becomes your greatest asset. If you are just beginning, do not be afraid of simplicity. Do not think that old methods are outdated, because in truth they are timeless, and the future of handmade business belongs to those who can combine ancient wisdom with modern storytelling, those who can show the beauty of roughness, the elegance of imperfection, the strength of slowness. Start with small pieces, experiment with textures, leave tool marks visible, let the grain speak, and most of all, let your work carry respect for the tree that gave its life for your art, because customers feel respect in objects, just as they feel care. Over time, your workshop will fill not only with tools but with stories, with pieces that traveled far, with letters from people who loved what you made. And one day you will look back and realize that this simple path, this primitive way of working, built not only a business, but a life rich in meaning. And now, as we slowly come to the end of this long reflection, I want to thank you from my heart for staying with me, for honoring the old ways, for believing that handmade still matters. And if you are enjoying today's content, if this story has inspired you to pick up a chisel, to rescue a fallen branch, or to imagine a future shaped by your own hands, please like this video. Share it with your family and friends who love woodcraft and creative business. And leave a comment telling us what kind of primitive piece you would love to make, because your voice helps this channel grow and helps us continue sharing these quiet traditions here on Wow Decor 2. Until our next journey together, may your tools stay sharp, your ideas stay brave, your workshop stay peaceful, and may every piece of wood you touch remind you that even the oldest crafts can still build the newest dreams.